All right, I think we can get started. Hello and welcome everyone. Today is 4th of August and this is Metal3 Community meeting. Just a reminder that this meeting will be recorded and later on posted on the YouTube channel of Metal3. If you have any items that you want to discuss with the community today, please make sure to add it into the agenda. And I will also share the link to the agenda or to the Google Doc if you want to add anything that you want to discuss. Also, please add your name in the attendance list. So as usual, we go through the introductions round. So if there is someone new on the call and wants to give a quick update or just share who they are and why they are interested in Metal3, that would be nice. And meanwhile, I would just mute my microphone. All right, I think we don't have anyone new on the call, then let's get started with the agenda. So the first item is from Bob, request for the review on the BMO PR, I think. Bob, please go ahead. Bob, if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. Is it only me who cannot hear Bob, or is it the same for everyone?
I cannot either.
Okay. Sure. So let's move on then with the other item, and then we'll come back to Bob later on. So the next one is from Sumit and Ashu, almost the same, requesting for the review on the PRs. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Paras, thank you. If you look at this one, right, this was the issue which we couldn't reproduce for the CRD version earlier, but now we have added fix. So I request Foucault, if you are on the call, right, you had given some comments, and so you can take a look at this. I mean, Ashu couldn't attend today, but on the
Okay, so you were finally able to fix that issue with the unit test, right?
yes. So currently everything looks green, but you can also suggest like if anything is missed out or can be added.
Okay. Sure, I will try to take a look during this week. But it's good that you're replacing it to Ivan, because if you're gonna run like Kubernetes 1.22, which will be released actually today, then this API version like that you're using beta will be removed, not even deprecated, but just completely removed. So that's good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this pull request? Okay, if not, then let's. So the next one is from Ricardo. I think this requires some troubleshooting.
Yes, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. So this is a PR that was open like some time ago now. We're talking about like roughly like 2 months and a half almost. And well, unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time to follow up, but basically there is this issue happening. The test integration job seems okay, while the CentOS integration job is still giving an error, and the problem seems to be in the like between the connection, like the connection between the Ironic and the database server, so the MySQL server, specifically on the certificate validation. So yeah, this is basically a call for help to see if anyone has any idea what like we're doing differently between the CentOS integration and the Ubuntu integration job that can cause this. And yeah, I remember I didn't do any troubleshooting recently. I actually remember trying to reproduce this once, but was not able to see the error locally. So that's why I don't understand what's going on here. If anyone has some time to dedicate, would be great. Just because I mean the Ubuntu based job is passing, and so there's something wrong in the configuration on the CentOS one.
There are two things I want to point out. First, I see that even the last trigger that you did like 2 days ago, it has also
Yeah.
failed,
Yes.
and it failed right here. Actually, right now, the master jobs for the like CentOS master jobs, they are failing due to like the IPA issue. So we had to rebuild the IPA, and then it passed. Like we just found it today. But even though if it is fixed, the issue with the certificate that we were discussing on the pull request, it is still there, I think. And if you want, what I could do is like we could, for example, create the similar environment with the CentOS, like exactly one-to-one on the CI. Then if you could give me like your SSH key, I can just add it, and then maybe you could like SSH into it and have more logs, because I understand that from the CI, just by looking at the logs, you don't really get like too much, and like this VM actually gets deleted after 1.5 hours, so you have nothing.
Yeah, even looking at the logs, it's not really clear.
Yeah.
What's so yeah that definitely would work. Thanks.
Yeah. So we could like discuss on that offline, like on the Slack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wants to add anything on this? Okay. Well, if someone has some ideas for troubleshooting, please, that would be really appreciated on the pull request, because I tried once triggering the SSH, the CI job, and just SSHing into the node, and I was seeing basically what Ricardo was seeing, but just naive looking, like even the BMA status was showing like really differently, and this is what I was getting from the Ironic API container, but I was not really understanding what is really happening in there. But yeah, if someone has any ideas, please share those. All right, if no questions, let's move on. Bob, are you able to speak now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I'll go quick here. So this is basically PR has been up for a few weeks to get and set the BIOS settings. So these are the settings that come directly from Ironic from the BMC. So we don't have common layer. We present them as they come, and we allow them to be changed. It's compatible with the previous BIOS config patch, which has for 3 settings a common name for them, and lets the driver map that to the actual BMC setting. So with the patch, I've got a quick demo here. I don't know if you want to show that, or if you can watch it, whenever they want. But it just shows what we do. So we've added 2 new CRDs. One of them is for the settings, and the second one is what we call the firmware schema. So this comes directly from the BIOS registry, and they're basically settings that they're fields that show what the limits are for the settings. If it's an enumeration type, for example, it'll show the allowable values. If it's an integer, it'll show the limits. If it's a string, the minimum maximum length. So it allows validations to be done on these settings, and also allows the user to see what the limits are before they set them. Yeah, so I don't know if you want to do this demo here, or like I said, we can.
Yeah. If we can do it right now, like absolutely, we have plenty of time.
Okay.
I can allow you, like just give the permission to share your screen.
You can even show it, or I'll share.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, just a moment. Can you try to share? Yep,
Can
we
you
can
see
see the
that?
terminal. Yep.
Okay. Okay, so in this demo, this is using Sushi tools. So there's some settings. There's only about 10 settings, which are contrived, but because they come from Sushi. We see here the 2 workers, and the workers have host firmware settings. Again, this is kind of contrived because it's using a local bare metal operator. So just the workers have them. Normally, we'd see the settings on the masters too. When the node was brought up, we retrieved the settings from Ironic. Here you see, again, 10 settings. Let me just stop this for a second and point something out. So the spec has a subset of the settings we get from the status. The spec are the ones that can actually be changed. So ones that aren't, there's a read-only field returned from the BIOS registry. So we don't put them in the spec because the user can't change those. But the settings are everything we get from Ironic. This is the firmware schema. So this is the BIOS registry that comes. So each setting has, again, an attribute type, identifying what type it is, whether it's read-only or not, and the limits for numeration, allowable values for integers, the limits, and same thing with strings. So what I'm going to do is just change one of the settings. I'm going to go in and change proc turbo mode. So I'm changing it in the spec. Now I'm just going to scale down this this worker node. So when it goes through cleaning, that's when it gets pushed down to Ironic during the manual clean steps. Again, that's where we coordinate with the previous patch that set the BIOS configuration. So just a bit of time lapse here. It's gone down through cleaning. And now we can see that the proc turbo mode in the status, so what we read back from Ironic, matches the spec setting, so the value's been changed. And that's it.
Let me share my screen back. And thanks a lot, first of all, for the demo. Just a moment. Yeah. Again, yeah, thanks for the demo, Bob. So I think the step like so is to review the PR, right?
Yes, just a request for a PR review.
Yeah. Okay. And I saw like there was a proposal which was already merged, I believe. Oops. Oh no. Okay. This is actually.
Yeah, I don't think that. I guess that hasn't merged yet. It's pretty close.
Okay, so it's well, we just need to remove the Hulk label and that's it. Because
Right.
you already have the HTML, but approve. So great. Anyone has any comments or questions or suggestions for the demo or in general for this feature?
So one question here, Sumit here. So When we are updating some of the bias parameters, right? Since we are testing on the Dell hardware right now, we come to know that they have dependency on some other parameters as well. Like if you're trying to set something, there are some parameters which are dependent on some other settings as well. So does this current design or behavior which you are showing right now, it is also including those parameters, kind of, or all of the independent?
So does it look for dependencies for settings?
Yes. Why I'm asking is, like, currently we are also working on the Dell hardware, and what we observe is there are around there are some parameters which are actually dependent on some other settings as well. So that's a question.
Right. Yeah. No, we don't do any dependency checking on it. Basically that's kind of, if the setting is gonna, if the making the bias change is gonna fail, there's nothing we can check besides the limits. This is really the only validation checking we're doing on it.
Okay. Because what we observed is, like, when we are trying to apply those settings, it's outside at the, there are some logs which are sent at the hardware level, and it clearly mentions there what is the failure or what is dependency. So
do we get any info from Dell about what the dependencies are through the BIOS registry? Do you know?
Yes. There is some help text. Maybe I need to plug in the text here, but I'm not. Currently, I don't have that reference for you, but I can provide later.
Right. If there's something we can do through the registry, there might be something we could do as a follow-on to, if it lists the dependencies, we could add another set of validations on it. But right now it doesn't.
Okay.
That's a good question. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. If now let's move on. Then yeah, I would just ask the same as both. That just please take a look at the pull request. So all that seems that was the end.
Sir, just one request I have. I just added one more PR to the list. It is a very minor one actually. PR 78. So it is actually, it is already approved. If someone can merge in them, maybe Digambar can, but he is not there, so could have asked him.
Oh, I see. It is. I'm not sure what do we have here.
We have mine, Russell.
Mile was on holiday, but I can try to ping him. Just to put it also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Any other topics that you want to discuss today? All right. If not, then I think we can close the meeting for today. Thanks everyone for joining, and talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.